Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, y'all, what do we talk about here? Pretty much boxing and boxing's BTBG. Now, y'all know what BTBG is. If somebody asks that question, then tell them in the comment section what it is. Y'all should know by now. You know, come on now. Y'all Doma dominators. You know, Doma dynamites. You know what I'm saying? Doma doers. Y'all know what time it is. You know what time it is. BTBG. So, example. Let's start with the question that we've been asking over the years. Do you like Deontay Wilder? Do you like Andre Ward? Do you like Terrence Crawford? Right? Do you like Floyd Mayweather? I always ask those questions because if your answer is categorically no to all of those, you probably are infected with the BTBG virus because they don't have much in common. Everybody's a lot different. The only thing in common is obvious, right? Totally different fighters, all of them. If you don't like all of them, then you're lying about what kind of fighting you like, you know, because everything's there. The technical fighter's there. The mauler type of fighter's there. The athletic fighter, the non-athletic fighter, the knockout artist. Everything's there, right? So if you don't like all of them, then you really don't like boxing. Bottom line. Or you're what we telling you are. BTBG, baby. So this was a nice BTBG weekend, right? When you watch the boxing BTBG weekend. First of all, we get news that, what's his name, man? Fernando, what's his name? Martinez or whatever. I forget his name already. The guy who fought Yala, who was dope. The 7th doped fighter. Luckily, I don't know his name. Fernando Martinez or something like that. He was doped when he fought Yalal, the undefeated British guy, you know, Olympian guy. And I remember I told you I was watching the fight and I felt bad because I was like, wow, this guy got a lot of energy. He's fighting the whole fight, you know, letting himself get hit and coming in, throwing punches. And I was like, damn, felt like on that day, I'm not going to say nothing, but I felt bad about feeling like it's a Mexican guy wanting to take punches, wanting to come forward and not getting tired. He's probably doped. And I felt like that, right? And then it turns out that's exactly what it was. Now, and I also felt like the fighter Yalil, which is only about 10 or 11-0, hadn't lost, has taken punishment from a dope fighter. What are we going to do about him? Does anybody care about him? Probably not, because they sure as hell didn't care about Devin Haney. They don't care about the guy who's been assaulted. That is called aggravated assault, right? But these people get away with it. Here's an example. You're lucky I don't know his name. Y'all know his name, I think. Fernando Martinez or something like that. Anyway, this Martinez guy is going to be pardoned. I'm going to use that word extra. He's going to be pardoned from the WBC president, Mauricio Sulaiman, right? Because he's told the guy that it was a mistake that it got in his system. Now, Mauricio Sulaiman, when Canelo got popped twice for clenbuterol in the system, saying that he ate Mexican meat, what was his suggestion? Let's raise the clenbuterol levels, right? Oscar Valdez got popped. He said, well, let him just fight anyway. They fought anyway, right? Not to mention other stuff, you know. So you're talking about a franchise title he gives to Canelo because he didn't want to fight Jamal Charlo. And I done told you guys, I'm surprised that people are letting him come to the fights, wanting to shake his hand and take pictures with him. You know, when people do things like that in daylight and there's no repercussions, they don't become better people, guys. They don't become better people. There has to be repercussions. He has to know that if he doesn't have integrity, then you do. And you running around just because it's a damn selfie. Man, get out of, I ain't trying to be affiliated with you, bro. You constantly are doing just illegal things. Just because you're being aided and abetted, because boxing is BTBG, I'm going to just say something that's really controversial. I'm going to say it like it is, right? Because it's how I feel. If I was Mexican and didn't have this much integrity, there's no way in the world I would not dope. I would dope for sure, because I know that there's no repercussions. First of all, you still got the fact maybe you don't get caught. You have that. But if you do get caught, ain't nothing gonna happen. I've seen cholesterol levels raised. I've seen people, the fans saying it's okay because you beat a black dude. I'll make sure I'm fighting somebody black first to make sure that's clear, right? You fighting him, so they're mad at him for, for nothing. You got doped. So there's no repercussions from the fans. You probably won't get in a ban over 6 months, which you're taking off anyway, right? There's no financial problems. You won't get your money taken. So there's no incentive for not doping for a Mexican fighter right now. They see in daylight that there's 1,000 of them happening right now all over the place, and nothing's happening. Mexican people are still talking smack, even though these people are constantly being doped. So this happens to this guy, right? Fernando Valdez was able to fight. Canelo still the face of boxing, with marks all in his stomach and caught twice with doping. What would make a Mexican say, I ain't doping? Do you understand? That would have to be a boatload of integrity for him to say no, because there is absolutely nothing that happens. So, and that is where the issue is. So that's first in BTBG, because a brother wouldn't happen. And at the end of the day, as long as you're not hitting a brother on the head, ain't nobody worried about that, right? So here's something else. You had the Tom and Jerry statement from Turki Alalshikh. Now, Turki Alalshikh is too rich for me to not think this man's playing chess and not checkers. I know a lot of people think Tom and Jerry, he's saying this because he's trying to talk only to the black fighters. No, he knows that in New Russia, they're talking only about the black fighters. That's not him, because people that are racist can't do certain things. People that are racist are not going to call Terrence Crawford a legend. People that are racist are not going to be on the side of Devin Haney, right? They're incapable. They're incapable. Boxing News 24 can't say anything positive about a black fighter. People that are racist, like we always try to say that Paulie Malignaggi is racist, he is capable of saying that Demetrius Andrade is one of the biggest tragedies in boxing, and Canelo avoids people, amongst others him. A racist can't say that, right? A person that has a different opinion than you in this particular case can, but a racist is incapable of giving props to a person of color. They would just, sometimes they would just stop talking or whatever. You know, white supremacy 101 is never, ever excuse yourself, apologize to a person of color. Just let it go away. But we ain't apologizing because we don't have any remorse. So why should we? So therefore, that's that. So when Turki Alalshikh says Tom and Jerry stuff, he's not talking about that because he knows that everybody Tom and Jerry is not just Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. He knows that. This weekend, we saw a whole bunch of Tom and Jerry. Clarissa Shields' opponent, sorry, homegirl, come from New Zealand, which I got props for. She stayed away the first 6 rounds. Like, I'm just going to stay out here. I ain't trying to go in here and fight her like that. Get out my face. I'm going to stay away. But because we call it Tom and Jerry now, it doesn't look so good. Girl from New Zealand. Then she started coming forward later. She knew she was not as talented as Clarissa Shields, but she was going to do whatever it takes to see maybe I can tire Clarissa out. Clarissa, who we're saying couldn't cut off the ring, that's not true. Didn't that look better than Skull and Canelo? Clarissa, when she got her in the corner, she was throwing combinations, a whole lot of combinations. It looked like the Matrix, Mr. Smith from the Matrix when he was throwing them combinations on Mr. Anderson, right? When he was throwing them on them, right? Those combinations on Neo, that's what it looked like when she got old girl in the corner. Canelo, when he got William Skull anywhere, was afraid to throw combinations because William Skull was going to counter his ass. That's the difference. And we were able to see Clarissa get over there, get on her toes to get her in the corner. So that's a little bit of a difference. But no one said anything about Tom and Jerry. Then you had your boy Xandar Zayas, right? Hey, man, dude, come on, man. That's what you're talking about. But that was looked at as good boxing. So it's just obvious. You know, you see a guy that's not of color, that looks good to you all of a sudden. You start seeing, wow, that's good boxing. That's ring gentlemanship. Tyson Fury versus Wilder. Whoa, look at him stand on the outside. Big old galoop stand on the outside against a little old skinny guy. You know, put his putting his chin out and outside. Then all of a sudden we see boxing. The Matrix, we see that. That's cool looking. Madrimov, whoa, man, look at how this is. You know what I'm saying? And Turki Alalshikh understands that. That's why he puts it out there. And so now people got to see what you're going to do. So he's watching. I think he's up to that, watching what's going on. So to see what these people is. And let me just tell you something about Turki Alalshikh. He's fighting BTBG more than you think he is. Just be patient. It's not from today to tomorrow. Even though he surrounded himself with people who's going to hang themselves. What I think he's doing is giving them rope and going to watch them hang themselves. That's what I think he's doing. Because it's almost obvious to me, right? It's almost obvious to me. And you're going to see going forward where Turki Alalshikh has to go, because everybody that's been coddled in the business, been getting all these fights that they want, won't fight anyone hard, and all those things, and still being heralded as it's you know, that they're awesome. And we like wondering why, how is you gonna let him avoid these guys and we still talk about him in the highest regard? But he's avoiding guys this hard. Anybody hard, we find reasons, right? All of these fighters are having issues right now. Teofimo Lopez. We'll just call them issues, right? Then he having issues. Or Gervonta Davis. Just issues. Not saying more. Just issues. A Tyson Fury. Issues. Not saying more. Just issues. Canelo Alvarez. Issues. Don't forget those issues that Canelo Alvarez and Turki Alalshikh were having at the beginning. When Turki just straight up put him on blast, like, you like easy fights, that's why me and you are not going to get along. You don't forget that. That's what he told Canelo, put him on blast for the world. Canelo bend the knee and got in there. But it's not, if I was Canelo, hey, for $150 million, I'd bend the knee too. You know what I'm saying? So let's not get on Canelo, because Canelo's still getting paid. But if Canelo was getting $30 million, he wouldn't be fighting, not even Terrence Crawford. He went out on public and said $200 million for to fight Benavidez, somebody in his own damn weight division. Turki Alalshikh gonna pay him, and he's not doing that for Canelo. This is just to see if Terrence Crawford can go ahead and do what he's got to do, so people can shut the hell up. That's what he's doing this for. It's not for Canelo, because if it was up to Turki Alalshikh, he wouldn't pay Canelo that damn money if it wasn't Crawford. Because he's told him, like, look, you won't fight people that you should be fighting. And Turki Alalshikh is starting to know who people should be fighting, and he didn't like it. That he's going to ask all that stuff. And Canelo always saying, you can't talk to me this way, telling other fighters to not even challenge him and stuff like that. Yeah, he's become that way because he's, you know, basically he's based in New Russia. And therefore, hey, you can act a fool in daylight in New Russia as long as you're doing it against people of color. So, did you enjoy that weekend of BTBG? You guys know that. And now somebody asked me about New Russia. They don't know what it is. Just think about it. Normally when I say something about New Russia, I put it in the context where it's very, very plain to see what I'm talking about. I'm probably not going to do a whole video about it, but I will explain it if you ain't get it. Think a little bit. If you heard it in 2 or 3 different videos, then damn it, put the context there and you will get it. Because if I explain it, it's going to probably end up in politics and somewhere else, and not just boxing. But anyway, guys, that's what BTBG is. It was plain to see on the weekend. Plain to see. BTBG. Doma Sports Talk. Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.